Again, welcome back again for the webinar session. Today we are going to talk about the message run feature in zTPFGI. This feature is more useful if you used setting up a particular test case when you do some testing or something like that, or when you have a set of entries or a script to test against your test changes, software changes or something like that. So in those kind of scenarios, you can use the message run feature. The message run basically allows you to input a sequence of messages through a terminal. The terminal could be a terminal connected to a TPF, or it could be even a Linux terminal which is available in zTPFGI. So today I'm going to use terminals connected to zTPF vPod for the demo and everything. So let me connect vPod first in zTPFGI. Okay, so I'm going ahead and connecting to a vPod, one of my available vPods. Okay, the reason I'm connected right now is, as I told, I'm going to use the TPF terminal, one of the terminals, to do the input run. Over here, I already have one input file open. First, let's look at the format of the file. The input file is a normal text file that we use anywhere with an extension .input. And this file can be saved anywhere, like it can be saved in the local hard drive like PC or laptop, or it can be saved in the host. The host could be either VM or Linux directory. So all of all of the files are the views are available here. Either it's a host view or a PC file view. Right, so in my case, I have the file saved in my Linux directory. As you can see, the path is Linux, and I have opened the file from that particular place in Linux. Right. So in your case, you can save if you have something that unique to your test case, and you don't want to save it in host. You can very well save it in your laptop, or you can even put it in a specific project folder where it the test case or the whatever testing that you're doing is related to. You can keep it there and then keep reusing the same file over and over. Now to begin with, once the file is open in the editor, you can see there are some commented lines and there are some valid zTPF commands available here. So all the commented lines, they have specific character, like single quote. It starts with single quote, it means it's a commented line. If the starting character is any other character, then it becomes we understand it is a command actually. Now the commands can even appear, like for every line I can put a command saying this is a command for availability or for the fast entry or whatever it is. So it is possible to comment on every line like that. And in this case, the comment could be either a single quote or even a hash character, and these are like customizable. So we are going to see later point how we can change this. Sometimes you might have a single quote or a hash character as part of your input. So in that case, you don't want to use it as a comment character. If you want to change that, you can do that. So I'll explain how we can do that at a later point of time. Now, now the file is open, and but it is not ready to run yet. So in order to make it ready to run, so I have to load the file. So there is a button, load button here. So clicking on the load button actually brings or makes the file ready to run actually. Now you see the difference. The first line has become a pink color, and all the blue dots appear in the left side gutter. So the blue dot indicates that they are all executable commands, they are valid command. And the command lines, of course, they don't have any blue dots. And the pink line actually means that that will be the next command that will be executed when we start either play or step or whichever way we want. Now there are some buttons activated over here, step, play, and skip. So I'll go through each one of them. But before going to that, so I'm going to go here. So the loaded file, of course, that's a file I have open and have done the load. So if I have multiple files open, so then I can choose that file, whichever file I want to load there. And the terminal is the terminal against which I want to run this input. Like I told, we can run it against a Linux terminal, but these are all Z commands. So in zTPF, since we are connected to the VPOR, we can see all the terminals allocated in my session. So this corresponds to, for example, if I go to System tab, so these are all the terminals allocated for me, ALC1, ALC2, LOC1, and the other two terminals, Dumbo and CFI1. So all these terminals are available over here, so I can choose any one of them, right? So right now I'm going to use ALC1 terminal for my input run. Then comes run mode, a standard and pass mode. These are the two modes available. Like in standard mode, when we run the input file, the input command is automatically done into or input into the TPO or vParse. But in pass mode, for every command, user intervention will be required. Like the input will be written or displayed in the terminal, and the user is supposed to hit the enter key, or he can change if there is any change in the format is required, can go ahead and change it, and then hit the enter key. Only then the command is into the host side. Now the advantage is I can think about a scenario where if I done an availability and then the next is cell entry. So based on the availability response, you would like to change the cell entry. Maybe it's the first line or second line, based on which you can actually do the cell entry. Or it could be even like you retrieve a PNR, and then the PNR, based on the PNR, you want to change the next entry. So then that is also possible with the pass mode. So right now I'll keep the mode as a standard mode, and then later on I can also show the difference, how it works in the pass mode. Now the control character is another button. Okay, this is the one I was talking about to customize your the command lines and everything. I'll come back to this one at the later point of our presentation, our demo. Now the next one is a show target terminal. This one actually brings you the terminal which we are used here, ALC1 for example. So it's actually bringing the terminal to the front so that you can see what is going on in the in terms of input and output. So as we play the input file, we can watch it, the inputs and outputs and everything, right? And then let me close it for the moment. And then turn on off message log allows you to save the input and outputs of the message run into your file. Of course, by default, when we run the input file, everything is logged in the output tab in the bottom. If you see, there's a message IO tab. So in this tab, we are going to see all the input and output going through. But in addition to that, if I want to save that data into your file, then I can turn on the message log. Okay, so let me turn it on now. So turn on for ALC1. So immediately it opens a text file or a new editor file with the extension .mlog. So this file is not saved anywhere right now. So once the run is completed, I can choose to save it anywhere, like PC or Linux or wherever it is required. So that's up to the buttons and everything available, or the options available over here. Then let me go to the actual run. Now I'm on the first line. That's where the pink indicator is right now. So this is the current execution. So if I choose to do a step now, so then it's going to execute one command and then wait for the next command. So let me click on this now. And okay, at this point I'll also bring my terminal to the front so I can see what is going on. Okay, now step. Now if you look at that, if I did a step, so the entry AWS CHI, it was taken and it was inputted through ALC terminal and it went to the zTPF and then we got the response back. So everything happened with the, just with the step button. But now we are waiting on the next line to do the step. So I can do one more step. So the ignore actually is actually fired and then transaction is ignored. Now if I want to do the play, I mean I don't want to step, I just want to I don't want to hit on step every time, but I just want to execute everything. Then I can click on play button. So at this time all the options, I mean all the commands are executed, and I can pause anytime if I want to just say okay, now I want to stop at this point. So if you look at that now, I'm not doing anything, but in the background each and every command or valid commands are taken from input file. It was input through the ALC terminal to the TPF and we got the response back. So as it was happening in the background, the output tab actually records everything. Let me close this ALC for a moment. So in the output tab, I can see all the input and output that's being done. And at the same time, on ALC1 term log file, again I have all the input and output, right? So in case if I have now, this time we turned on the log. So in case if you have forgotten to turn on the log, as I told you before, by default everything is logged here in the message IO tab. So I can go there and then right click on it and then say copy to new editor. So this will actually copy all the input output data to my new editor. The difference between this, using the copy to new editor and using the log, is that when you use a log, you have all the input output formatted. So you clearly know that what is the input and output, and we mark everything. Of course, and also it comes with all the formatted way. But in message IO, it's not like that. It's just input, then the output, input and output. It's just plain logging off. There's no formatting done here. Right. So once I have any questions so far? Okay, your question is when the output is more than one page, does it log all pages? No, actually, usually if you're asking about doing a move down, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so in that case, actually, you have to do the move down manually. So that is where we can use the pass mode. If I know that or I can do a different way. I can tell you that. That's what I'm about to tell you. So I'll go back to the message input file. Now let me just do an eject so that I can start from the beginning. I'll load the same file, the ALC1 standard mode, and I can even turn on. It's already on. Okay, so one way of doing that, getting the multiple page output is using the pass mode. In this case, every input is going to be wait. After every input we are going to wait, and then you can, instead of doing the next input command, you can actually do a move down entry. Or even the better way is use the standard mode, set a breakpoint. Like if I know that ZD, when this is the command that comes with the multiple page input or multiple page output, I can set the breakpoint there. I can hit on the play button. So everything is executed up to that point. Now it's waiting on the ZD event command. I can bring this one up. Then I can do a step. Now cd event came back with a response. Now we are still waiting here. So I can do move down. I mean, I know it is move down usually, but in our system it is z space md. So this is going to get the next page of output for me. Does this answer your question, Sadesh? Okay, thanks. So I was about to tell you about, yes, Sadesh, go ahead. Your question is about if we can dynamically place commands. No, we cannot. Right, that's right. We cannot place the dynamic commands over here. This is more like just input and output. We do not have a way to interpret the output and do some dynamic commands. That is not available in with this message run feature. Okay, so I'm going ahead with the demo. So let me close this ALC window. Okay, so I was about to show you the breakpoint, which I just did, and then the next feature I want to show is, or the next button available is the skip to cursor. So when you have a set of commands, and you know that okay, you don't want to execute all of those, but you just want to start from somewhere in the middle, and place the cursor there, and then say skip to cursor. So everything up to that point is skipped, and then the next next command is placed at that point. Now if I say okay, show the terminal, and then say step, so the next command executed is actually the command where we are, where the cursor is set. And finally, I want to show, is there any more questions, Satish? I want to go ahead with another one. Before that, I just want to check with you. Okay, so the next one I want to show you is about the control characters. On the control characters, as I told before, you can set up what is the character you want to use. For example, for a command line, when the command line is starting from the beginning, then what is the character use? And if the command line start from the middle of the column, then what is the character to use? Here in this case, we already seen we have a hash as the begin line commenting character, and the single quote is when there is single quote, we understand everything after that is a comment. Right, so let me cancel it here. So this is what I was meaning. So the single quote anywhere, it's mentioned anywhere, it is actually a comment, and a hash, if it is mentioned in the first column, then it is a command line. That's how we understand. Now in case if your command or your input script actually has any one of this character as part of the valid input command, then you would like to change it so that we don't consider the line as a command line. And then the continuation character. Continuation character is when you have multiple lines input, not multiple lines, but your input is actually going to the next line. Then you would the continuation character is used. Like for example, I have a backslash as a continuation character. So let me go ahead and the same command that I have here, I'll input here just that with the backslash. So then let me eject and then load. I can directly come over here, skip to cursor, I am clearing the ALZ1 screen. Now I step on the first command, which is a single line command. So it is executed. The next line has actually two line commands, zTPFGI and the rest of the parameter in the next line. Since we gave a backslash, so if I do a step, so it is considered as a single line command still. So we go to the next line, take everything and then input as a single line. So that's what the continuation characters are for. And the carriage return characters are useful when you actually have a multiple line input. Maybe like HTTP message, it is actually a multi-line input. So something like that can have multiple line input. So in this case, you want to mention, okay, the next line is actually part of the previous command. Then you have to mention the last character as a semicolon. Now let me go ahead and do the same thing over here. I know this is not a valid, but I'm just doing it as just for an example, right? So if I do a step here, this is a single line character command. Then next step actually, if you notice now zTPFGI, it takes the next line, display all, puts in the as the next line, insert a carriage return there, and puts it display all the next line, and then input that command to the TPF. So that's how we change the. I mean, if you don't specify the semicolon over here, then let's see what happens. If you look at it, there's a blue dot in both the lines. So this means that both the lines are taken as a different input command. So then it's going to fail in this case. If I do a step, step, and then step, so it's not a valid one. That yeah, I mean I'm completed the demo. Siddharashmi, I think you joined sometime later. Probably you missed the initial part.
Yeah,
Do you have
I
any
joined.
questions?
I joined by 12:15. Maybe I check with Satish. I trying to do that in my GA.
Okay.
I couldn't enable the message login. So even I don't know how to enable all these buttons. Step
Okay.
how to load
Have
the
you?
file.
Yeah. Have you? Okay. The first step is to do the load. That's what probably you missed.
Yeah, that's
Yes. Let me just show you that. It's a simple to show you. Once you connect it to the VPOD,
okay.
you will do the load button.
Yeah.
Then you choose the terminal, which terminal you want to use for the input file.
Actually, for me, all the buttons are disabled. The load also. That's why I'm actually I connected to VPass, but
Okay.
the load is disabled.
Did you open a .input file? You should have that file open now. Only then the load will be enabled, I guess.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was the first step. I'm sorry.
Let me try that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, the file name should be should have an extension dot input. Then we recognize, okay, it's actually a input script for zTPFGI.
Okay, okay, fine. Then let's go. I will.
Okay, is there any other question? Okay, thanks for joining. We very well appreciate that you've taken off your time to join this webinar. If you have any questions, you can mail us.